Good evening, good afternoon, and good morning, and also good day for all of you who join in today for this special webinar session that we have. Today is certainly our honor to have our speaker all the way from Glasgow to talk to us about, to share with us, some of the prospects that we could see when joining the master's program. So before we begin, just a little housekeeping rules here that we have muted the microphone for all of the attendees. And if you have any questions that you would like to ask our speaker, please use the Q&A panel, which you can see at the bottom of your Zoom. And this live webinar will be recorded as well. So again, I'm seeing more and more attendee joining in. I realize that it's actually raining in somewhere in Kuala Lumpur. I hope you are okay now. But anyway, again, welcome for those of you who just joined. So I'd like to briefly introduce myself. My name is Waikit. I'm the Associate Dean Research and External Engagement for the School of Business and Technology from IMU University. And today is our honor to welcome our speaker, Dr. Lisa McCain, a reader in digital health and care, program director for the Masters in Digital Health Systems from University of Strathclyde. So before we begin the session, please allow me to briefly introduce Dr. Lisa. So, but before that, I would like to again, just to bring up that the purpose of having this webinar. Generally, this talk will introduce the unique degree opportunity between IMU and University of Strathclyde for a 1+1 master's program for IMU students. So IMU students have the opportunity to complete this unique combination at University of Strathclyde and receive joint supervision for their dissertation, both from IMU and also the Masters Digital Health Systems from the University of Strathclyde. And this is a unique opportunity for IMU students to transfer from to masters transfer from masters in health informatics and analytics in IMU seamlessly into the masters digital health systems at the University of Strathclyde, subject to meeting entry requirement. So before we begin, please allow me to welcome Dr. Lisa again. And Dr. Lisa is the program director for the masters digital health systems at the Department of Computer and Information Science at the University of Strathclyde. She's also the Director of Research for the department and a member of the department's Digital Health and Wellness Research Group. Lisa is experienced in the development, deployment, and evaluation of person-centered digital health interventions and working with people across the life course. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and Lisa, you can go ahead to share your screen.
Do I just put this on full size?
Right, it's coming up. All right, all
That's
good.
full size. Can you hear me and see me okay?
Yes, all good. Thank you, Lisa. The time is yours. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So thank you everybody for joining us this evening and this afternoon, if it's afternoon for you. As you've heard, my name is Lisa McCann and I am a reader in digital health and care at the University of Strathclyde. I just want to take the chance to thank colleagues from IMU for organising today's session and for providing the opportunity for you to listen to the programme and the unique offering that we have as the arrangement of the IMU, and to ask any questions as you've heard in the Q&A panel, and I can take those during the session or any follow-up questions later that you might have after today's talk. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about Scotland and Glasgow, just in case people are not familiar in terms of where we are and what Glasgow has to offer. Introduce you to the University of Strathclyde and the Department of Computer and Information Sciences, where I'm based, and introduce you to the vision statement, the kind of ethos of the Digital Health and Wellness Research Group that I'm a member of, as our colleagues who are part of the teaching team for the programme. I'll give you an overview of what the Digital Health Systems Masters curriculum consists of and how the unique offering will work between ourselves and yourselves as IMU students making the seamless transition into the programme. a little bit about graduate career paths, what some of our current students have gone on to do, previous cohorts have gone on to do, and a little bit of visa information just in case that helps in terms of understanding what some of the requirements would be in terms of a student visa and a possible graduate route visa as well. So we are based in Glasgow. University of Strathclyde is based in Glasgow, which is here on the kind of the west side of Glasgow, west side of Scotland itself, part of the United Kingdom. So folks might be familiar with London, which is way down here, and the border of Scotland to England around this mark here. And there's a whole area of Scotland off the map that you can't see, lots of islands. We have islands further north that are actually closer to Norway than they are to Scotland in terms of where they are in terms of the localities. So we are a vast country with a small population of about 5 million people, but we do cover a large geographic expanse. Glasgow and Scotland are known for various things. I'm just going to highlight a couple here, just to give you an overview. So Glasgow itself is a city, a large city that runs either side of the River Clyde here in Scotland. It's got lots of different venues, so it's a great place for music. This is one of our large music venues here, and another one just I'm highlighting here called the Armadillo. You can see why it's called the Armadillo. It's like an armadillo shell. And lots of vibrant aspects to the city itself. Glasgow is also home to the University of Glasgow, which is not Strathclyde, it's one of the other universities. There are 3 universities in the city, but it's one of Scotland's oldest universities. So it's got the more classic buildings like this beautiful part of the buildings here. And these buildings are you can be able to go on tours of the University of Glasgow buildings and see some of those more historic spaces. We're also got lots of castles and history to our country, if that's what you're interested in, to explore the country in weekends and in downtime from the studies. This is Inverary Castle. This castle is still lived in by a family, the clan of the family who've been part of this castle for many years. And again, you can do tours of this castle in the grounds. I've been to this one just earlier this year. It's absolutely beautiful. And we also have some iconic wildlife. These are Highland cows or Highland coos, to say it in a more Scottish phraseology, and they are well known and scattered around the country and very, very popular with tourists to go and see these unique animals as well. Glasgow itself is a great city. One of our straplines, or the main strapline for Glasgow, is that people make Glasgow. So we are known to be friendly as Scots and Glaswegians, and people who live in Glasgow are also known to be very friendly. We don't take ourselves too seriously. So this is an iconic statue of Duke of Wellington outside the Glasgow Museum of Modern Art. And this statue always has a traffic cone on his head. So it's an iconic image of Glasgow that you would see over and over again. And lots of people taking pictures of it, and lots of touristy pictures, postcards, tea towels, and all sorts. Another iconic aspect of Glasgow. So I'm not from Glasgow. I've lived in Glasgow for the last 4 or 5 years. I really enjoy living here. There are lots of elements and aspects to Glasgow which make it a really fun place to live. We've got lots of green spaces, despite being a big city, lots of parks, lots of river space, canal areas with public footpaths and things. Always live events going on in Glasgow of all different sorts of interests. The food scene is great, so I really like eating out and cooking, and there's all different cuisines here. We're really accessible to Loch Lomond, which is one of the iconic stretches of water here in Scotland. We've got great shopping facilities, the great nightlife, different activities, sports clubs. So no matter what you're into, you would find an area of interest to be able to find a community and to support whilst you had your time living in Glasgow. Very easy to get around the city with different public transport aspects. And we have lots of free museums that people can access 6 days a week as well. And of course, the people, as I say, are really friendly and really help people integrate into the community. One of our other unique offerings, just to kind of highlight, is our subway system, which is part of that easy to get around. And I say it's unique and easy to get around because it literally goes around the city in a circle. So you can't get lost on our subway system. It's not like going to London or to other big cities. You can either go left around the city or right around the city. If you go left or right, depending on where you need to get to, it might take you 8 minutes or 16 minutes. So it's a very easy system to navigate. So I live nearest to this station, Hillhead, in the west of this city, and I travel this way to work to Buchanan Street, and then it's a 5-minute walk. So it's not far at all to move around the city. One of our oldest underground systems in the world, third oldest behind London and Budapest. Helps to kind of help situate where we are in terms of our campus. So we're really fortunate that our campus, Strathclyde campus, is right in the heart of the city centre. So really easy to access on public transport. As I say, this is one of the train stations here and another one here, Queen Street, subway stations marked by the U's. So really easy to get around. The main bus stop that comes into Glasgow from various locations is here. So really, wherever you come into the city, to get to our campus is a 5-10 minute walk. So really close to those aspects, really close to the shops, Buchanan Street, and unique different districts that I highlighted earlier on. And here's one of our green spaces that is literally at the end of the road towards campus, Glasgow Green. So you come out of campus, head down to the Clyde, and this big green space park is here. So really fortunate that we're really well located. In terms of Strathclyde as a university, our founding principle and principle that we still work to this day is that we are a place of useful learning. And our mission is to make a positive difference to the lives of our students, to society, and to the world. And this is a screenshot of some of our campus buildings from one of the angles that we have on campus. We are built on a hill, so this is a kind of aerial view. This is a teaching building here. This is also a teaching, learning, student union building that only opened last couple of years. This large tower is where I'm based. It's called the Livingston Tower. This is a Graham Hills building, Technology Innovation Centre at the back here. So everything is really well contained, so it makes it a very easy campus to navigate, to access, and to move between buildings for different facilities that you might need. We are one of 13 universities in Scotland, and we have won numerous awards in recent years, including Scottish University of the Year, a University of the Year award from Times Higher Education for 2 years, which is a unique achievement. And we've received something called the Queen's Anniversary Prize on a number of occasions as well. And according to the latest Times Higher Education rankings, we are the 5th joint university of those 13 universities in Scotland. So we are performing really well in terms of the institution that we're at. The university, we have about 30,000 students, 25% of which are international students, and we have a lot of support for international students. So the dedicated team and numerous resources that can help provide support to students as they're making their applications to the university and as they're going through that transition and moving to the country to take up their studies. So lots of support that can be provided through this international study support team. So please do look at some of these links for follow-up information if there's particular questions or queries that you have. We also have a number of societies and clubs at the university, over 200 societies and clubs at the university, one of which is a Strathclyde University Malaysian Society, which might be something that people might be interested to join for that support, to make friends, to meet new people, and be part of that organisation in a community that is something that is all students. I recommend you find your club, find your society, and integrate yourself and make friends, make contacts, make connections in that space as well. So Strathclyde University Malaysian Society might be one group of interest to folks. At the university, we have 4 different faculties, and we are situated in the Faculty of Science. Number of departments in that faculty, as you can see, Computer and Information Sciences sits within that Faculty of Science as well. Our department has 6 different research groups, different areas of expertise, and we have world-class, world-leading research in a number of different areas, including AI, computer security, health informatics, digital health, information-seeking behaviour, mobile interactions, software engineering. So again, we cover a range of areas and a range of specialist expertise spaces. The group that I'm aligned to and where this master's programme aligned to is the Digital Health and Wellness Research Group, known as DOG as an acronym, and we do have pictures of dogs. Some of our members are very keen on dogs and they have those pictures around their department and the office as well. But our mission statement is all about developing person-centred and accessible digital health solutions that make a difference. And again, that's where our alignment to Strathclyde, Strapline, as a place of useful learning comes in, because our work is about taking the research that we do and applying it in real world settings with real world populations. So we do a lot about user-centered design, user-centered service development, working in partnership with key stakeholders, and thinking about how we can use our multidisciplinary expertise to think about developing digital health technologies that can have that positive impact on people, on communities, on organisations, and thinking about the scalability of the work that we do as well. As mentioned, we are a multidisciplinary team, so although we are based in a Department of Computer and Information Sciences, we are not all computer sciences or information scientists. My background is actually in psychology and health services research, and over a number of years have become more and more active in the digital health space and been doing digital health technology research before the term digital health was really in use. It was around mobile health and e-health, and there's also been a lot of progression globally in terms of recognising how technology can help support health and care services. We also have people from nursing backgrounds, sports backgrounds, health informatics, information scientists, and that gives us a really unique offering in terms of our approach to research and our teaching and our research-based teaching, that we all make sure that we integrate the work that we do in our teaching examples. So different definitions of digital health exist, as you'll be more than aware. For me and for the group, we're thinking about how technology can be disruptive and transformational in that positive approach, and how technologies can be used to help engage and empower people to be more active in their health and care experiences. We don't just look at one type of technology or use one type of technology. We think about that as a toolbox of technologies and different techniques that help us think about patient-centred and carer-centred models of care, how we can think about increasing accessibility to services, how we can provide better, safer and more efficient services, and how we can think about that across all different aspects of the health and care system. So as part of that, we have a team approach to teaching. So I'm very heavily involved in the programme as the programme lead, as the advisor of studies to all the students who take the programme up. That means that I am your go-to person if you have any issues, concerns, queries that you might need some support with, or some navigation to support within the university as well. Recognising that taking on a master's programme is not a mean feat. You know, there's lots to take part in that. For students who move to Glasgow from different places, including internationally, there's a lot of things to take into consideration. And there's some things to be mindful of, in terms of the different approaches, academic approaches between some universities and what the UK system is. So I can be there, and I am there as that person to kind of clarify things, emphasise things for people as well. I'm heavily involved in the actual teaching as well as the kind of management, programme management. I lead one of the core modules on digital health implementation, which runs over 2 semesters, so I get to know the students really well. And I also lead the research methods module that is a core module for this programme and 9 other programmes across the master's programmes in our department. So I see lots of the students in the programme, which is great, and get to know you. And my interests around those seldom heard populations, person-centred digital interventions, remote monitoring, qualitative methods, evaluation, implementation, and so on. Another colleague is Professor Marilyn Lennon. She's Professor of Digital Health and Care, and Marilyn leads the module, the 20-credit module in semester 1, around designing usable systems. Marilyn's background interests around human-computer interaction, usability, user experiences, those different models of home and social care provision, and does a lot around data analytics and predictive modelling. So again, lots of different expertise areas that complements really nicely some of my own expertise, and we work together quite closely. We supervise some students together. Another professor in our research group who has that contribution to teaching is Professor Roma Maguire. She's a co-module lead for CS 804, that's like a numerical code for the module that's about healthy ageing. And in that module, there's focus on older people and older adults, and how technology can be used, designed, evaluated, implemented to best meet the needs of an ageing population. And again, Roma's done lots in different aspects and different patient populations from remote monitoring, and again does things in predictive modelling and values-based medicine. Roma co-leads that Healthy Aging module with Dr. Kieran Egan, who's a Senior Research Fellow in Healthy Aging and Digital Health, and his interests include populations with dementia, around brain health, the needs of carers experiences, informal carers, as well as paid carers, and thinking about behavioural change aspects in the use of technology. Dr. Keith Smith joined us just last year, and he leads one of the modules in semester 2, health and care data analytics for decision support. And Keith's interests are more around data analytics, particularly for neuroimaging, does a lot around network analysis, and again, applies that work in real life contexts for people with Alzheimer's disease and major depressive disorder. So a range of people. There are other classes that you will take that are led by other colleagues in the department and other colleagues around the university that I'll explain in just a moment or two more. So in terms of our Digital Health Systems Masters, it's a full-time on-campus programme. We have 120 credits of taught material that we split into 2 taught semesters. Semester 1 runs from September to December. So the new cohort of students are joining us in a fortnight's time to take up the Masters. And then semester 2, it runs from January to March. For students who are not as part of the IMU programme, they would then move on to do the 60 credit Digital Health Research Dissertation project taken from around end of May to August of the academic year. But the arrangement, this unique arrangement that we have with IMU, as you heard at the start, means that you would do your dissertation at IMU with co-supervision from myself, one of my colleagues from Strathclyde, in your usual timings of doing your dissertation, and you wouldn't then need to do the dissertation again with us. You do the 120 taught credits only as part of this unique offering. And as I say, just to kind of reflect on the definitions and our approach to digital health, our MSc thinks about that whole systems aspects of digital health. So our curriculum covers things around co-design of interventions, of solutions, how you think about data management of databases, the complex aspects around legalities, ethical and governance issues around healthcare information, the implementation, as I say, that module I lead around digital health implementation, the aging process, and research methods that can be used to evaluate, design healthcare systems with users and stakeholders. The aims of our course are to provide that state-of-the-art training in the latest advances in digital health and care systems around design, development and management. We provide training in the human aspects, the technology and the systems perspectives in that whole systems approach to that transformative digital health and care. And we want to create the next generation of leaders in the health and social care information technology space, in the digital health space, working with health and care systems, or in the consumer industry, or in working in corporate companies or startup companies, or into academia. So there's a range of pathways that we've seen students take after doing our master's programme. In terms of the unique offering, as I say, we do not offer this sort of programme to any other institutions at this stage. This is only an arrangement with IMU, where students have the opportunity to complete the Masters and then the +1 Masters with us at Strathclyde. There are some entry requirements to make you aware of around that successful completion of an undergraduate degree, and as long as you've passed all the first semester modules at the IMU degree programme, you'd be eligible to take the transition into this programme as well. There's obviously some IELTS agreement scores required, and we would do the joint supervision, as I say, from March in the IMU programme. Then you would start the Strathclyde courses in the September of that year. So 2 semesters, 120 credits to take over that period of time. There's obviously some fees to be mindful of for this in terms of the international fees required, which is based on the current 2024-25 international fee, and there has been a slight discount applied to that based on that supervision arrangement and not taking our dissertation module here. Students are required to pay a £4,000 deposit, a non-refundable £4,000 deposit at the time of application, and a good quality passport picture, and some other requirements in terms of applying with degree certificates, letters of reference and things, and so on. So our course is split over 2 semesters, as I mentioned. Digital Health Implementation is a 20 credit class taken over 2 semesters. You'll see it appear twice on the list. That's the course, the module that I lead. Designing Usable Systems with Marilyn is a 20 credit class, and that really teaches you about how to co-design, the method around co-design and teaching. Health Information Governance, which is around the law and ethics aspects of working with healthcare information, and that Healthy Aging module, which runs in semester 1 but in a compressed 5-week block. You also have the chance to take 2 of these 3 electives to make up the credits. And these 2, Managing Healthcare Operations and Healthcare Economics, are run by our business schools. So you get to mix with students from another faculty and another programme, or also Big Data Fundamentals, those that are more interested in the big data aspect. If you take the 2 semester 1 classes, it means that you're doing 70 credits in semester 1 and 50 credits in semester 2, or you're doing a 60-60 split if you're taking the semester 2 class. We do have, and we have had students take the 70 credits in semester 1, so it's a slightly higher loading, but it is manageable, particularly as this class runs just for 5 weeks of that semester as well. So some classes finish as another is starting, or your assessments are incremental over the course of the semester. Electives, I say, is that Big Data Fundamentals around big data, Managing Healthcare Operations around healthcare management, and that Health Economics and Evaluation about how you would then conduct health economic evaluations, which is really important when you're thinking about designing new interventions, new technologies. How would you cost them? How would you understand if they cost money? Do they save money? And there are some of the techniques and tools you're introduced to in that elective. In the second semester, it's 60 credits or 50 credits, as I say, if you've done the 2 semester 1 electives. We do the second part of digital health implementation. You do Keith's class around decision support and health analytics. And you do the course around database fundamentals, that more understanding how you work with databases, how you create databases for doing that more kind of programming aspects. And then the research methods module. And as I say, I've put a score through the 60 credit dissertation because you've done your IMU dissertation before coming to us. So the course has been running for a number of years now. You may be interested to know what students think about it. And this is one of our current students, Dagvit from Ethiopia. And you can see she's saying her experience of the past year has been transformative. I've learned so much from coding, data analytics, and digital health implementation. And I've been able to apply that knowledge in my new job, and it's clear that hard work and effort really do pay off. So again, you can see that indicator of the Strathclyde strapline about the place of useful learning already as a student who's not yet graduated, just handing in her dissertation, but already picked up a job and already able to apply that learning and knowledge in that new environment, which is really positive for us to hear. In terms of careers and what support is available, again, lots of support for students to think about the careers service. We have a careers talk early on in the semester where the science faculty careers advisor comes to talk to the students about how to make yourself marketable early on. Don't wait to the end of the programme, but where you can be looking for opportunities as you go through. And we offer a number of support services for international students about thinking about working in the UK during your studies, working after your studies in the UK as well. And there's a job search tool that we have that's just for international students in the UK that are guaranteed for visa sponsorship as well. So there's lots of support that you can access to help you find opportunities for going forward. The roles of digital health student graduates have been varied over many years. Some have decided to stay in academia. So one of my current PhD students is a student who completed the Digital Health Master's Programme a few years ago. She went to work in the NHS in a digital health role and then came back to do her PhD studies. People have gone on to data science, data analytics roles. They've gone on to software development, software engineering roles based on their own backgrounds. Health IT management, processor roles, auditor roles, working in the NHS. Some have worked in social care, some have gone to work for private industry in different roles, project management roles, software development, and engineering roles. So lots of different opportunities available to people to find and pick up. And again, you can look for students who've graduated from Strathclyde on the programme from LinkedIn, and then you can see the sort of roles that they've been taking up as well. There's obviously some considerations in terms of visas as an international student about the requirements to apply for a study visa. Now, I'm not an expert in the visa requirements and all the kind of legalities of it all, but I do suggest you look at our website, the visa information website, but also the UK government website. Well, that's why I've highlighted this particular website. The student visa from the student government outlines more of the requirements in terms of when you need to apply, how much you need to pay, how long you can stay in the country for on a certain visa, how you then apply for the post-study work visa as well. So say that kind of information about when to apply, from picking up the information from the UK government website, is that you can apply, the earliest you can apply is 6 months before your course starts. So if you're going to start with us in September, you'd work back 6 months from that. And there'll be some discussions we would have with the university about how we can issue the visa and any CAS requirements prior to September to help you with that kind of planning and transition as well. It does cost to apply for the visa, just under £500, and there's a UK healthcare surcharge to consider as well. So it's just about having all the resources and information to hand to be able to kind of follow through with the information. We also offer a UK graduate route visa, which allows people to stay in the UK for at least 2 years after you completed that successful course, or you've successfully completed your course in the UK. And again, different periods of time when you can apply, how you apply, and what that might cost in terms of those graduate route visas. Many of our students who've taken the programme in recent years have been international students, and most of those, I would say, have stayed in the UK and have been able to find employment in the UK as part of that pathway. So I'm going to stop there. I think I've talked quite a lot, and I'll just stop screen sharing and pause for any questions or discussions we might have. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Dr. Lisa, for the very informative talk that you have presented. So I would like to just ask if there's any question from the floor. That if you have any question, feel free to use the question and answer, and we would do our very best to answer to most of them. Right. So I'm seeing that some of the questions. So we have the first question from Professor Kirun from Bangladesh. So his question is that he's a specialist in acupuncture with an MD and PhD practicing 34 years, and he would like to check if there is any scholarship that's available for this program. Maybe let me help to answer this question. Yeah. So, Prof. Kiran, you are welcome to apply into our program. Currently, we do not offer a scholarship for this particular pathway, but as explained by Dr. Lisa, there's actually some fee reduction because of the credit transfer between the two programs. So we can have a further discussion on this if you are interested. But you do write into us, and then our marketing team would help to address some of the questions that you have. So, Prof. Kiran, I hope that is clear for you. Thank you. So we
Yeah,
have
I would just echo
yeah,
that. Yeah,
sure,
because of the
sure.
fee reduction that is in place, um, applicants are not eligible for our scholarships. But if there are scholarships that people can apply for in country
Mm,
from different routes, then
yep.
people would be welcome to do that and would be able to do that. It's just that the university would not offer another scholarship based on the fee reduction that we've agreed as part of the credit transfer.
Mm. Right. Thank you, Dr. Lisa, for that. Thank you. So we have another next question as well on how to apply. So again, we have our marketing team here. So perhaps you could maybe I will just get our marketing team to help to put up the application link in the chat so that you can click on the chat, and you can very quickly apply, and then our marketing team will be in touch with you on the detail and the application and things like that. Thank you very much. So keep the question coming in while we wait for question to come. I do have a few questions that I'd like to ask Dr. Lisa. Maybe Dr. Lisa can help to clarify that because I understand that most of our attendees here are Malaysian. So we want to ask what are the career opportunities for Malaysians specifically to work in UK in this field itself. Do you have any experience that you can share with us, or do you know of any Malaysian student who actually has gone into the field? Thank you.
I'm just trying to think last few years. I don't know if we have had Malaysian students, but we have had international students from all different countries. We've had students from um, Ghana, Nigeria, Ethiopia. We've had students from Vietnam, Thailand. So we've had a real multicultural cohort, cohort over a number of years. And I say many of those students have stayed. One student, for example, I just spoke to last week, is now living in Cornwall, which is at the very southern tip of the UK. And he's working for the NHS as a digital health program manager. So he has, over the last few years, worked his way up in different roles in terms of that technology space. We have students who've taken on roles as digital product managers, students from India, digital product managers for different, I suppose, corporate companies, if you like. We've had students who've gone into software engineering. So it really depends on the skill set that students come to the program with,
Mm-hmm.
and then what they learn in the program and how they want to then bring those two sets of experiences together to find opportunities in the workplace in the UK. So there's various roles that people have taken up.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have any examples specifically of students from Malaysia and what they've done, but students from different international countries and backgrounds have pursued various opportunities. And I say many have now stayed, they've settled in the UK with their families as well, which is reassuring and good to see.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. If I could just sum up and conclude, I would say that the opportunities for international students to apply job in UK is actually very good. So that would mean that if you have an opportunity to graduate from University of Strathclyde of Glasgow, there's actually very high possibility for you to get a job in UK itself. So that is actually fantastic. Yep.
Yeah,
So while
and I
while
guess part of that, sorry to interrupt,
no,
part of
no
that would be that
worries.
there wouldn't be there's no other offering of this sort of degree combination. So
Mm-hmm.
it's a very unique offering that you'd have. So our students who graduate with our degree alone are
Mm-hmm.
finding employment opportunities. So students who have this unique offering of the IMU degree and the Strathclyde degree and the different perspectives that brings, the different knowledge and expertise,
Mm-hmm.
and that unique selling points applications would mean you'll be in a very competitive position to be applying for jobs and be um, you would stand out in applications, I would think, in terms of what those skill sets would be compared to other graduates from other
Wow.
institutions.
Wow, that is so good to know. So that means if you wanted to stand a very high chance of working in UK in this field, so UNESCO Strathclyde is the place to go. In fact, if we can, just dive down into the specific skill set that we have, we are not just talking about health informatics or maybe digital system, but we are actually looking into many other areas. So as long as the skill set has a very good match, not only applying in healthcare, but the skill set that we're looking at, the analytic skills, the digital system skill, that if you have the skill that apply into another related field which is not healthcare, that is totally transferable as well. So I think that is a very good opportunity that we can look at. And this is the other side of the hemisphere, and obviously the opportunity is equally wide. Thank you for that. Right. Yeah, that's a question. So before I go to another question, I want to just go back to the previous the previous attendee who asked about application. You said that you have already applied last time. Now we're gonna ask for you to reapply this time, because this time around we're gonna screen, and this time we are really opening up this particular pathway, and we are really recruiting students from this pathway as well. So if I'm gonna ask you to actually reapply one more time so that we can look into your application this time. All right, thank you. So I'm going to go back to the first question that we post in Q&A. So we have a question from Raven. What is the maximum age to apply into this program? For example, 50-year
Age?
old?
Oh no, 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 no maximum age. No
Oh,
maximum age at all. We would welcome anybody who would want to do the program. So no maximum age. We've had we've had students doing the program who have been working. So we had a part-time program for a couple of years. We don't offer the part-time route anymore, but we had students doing the program who were working who would be classed as mature students,
mm-hmm.
not to be discount to their age, but they would be classed as mature students, and they balance doing the work alongside doing their studies alongside their working commitments as well. But no maximum age, no maximum age at all.
Yep, and speaking from IMU point of view, there's no maximum age as well, but we do have a minimum age. But there's no maximum age in pursuing postgraduate studies. So you are welcome to join us. Yep. All right. So going back to Prof. Kiran. So Prof. Kiran, Kiran mentioned that his wife also a specialist in physical medicine and rehabilitation, and also interested. So yes, please send in your application to our team, and our team will look into that. So thank you very much for that. And then we have the next question from Zuliana. How difficult is the coursework? Wow, that is a very subjective question. So, Dr. Lisa, would you like to try to attempt to answer to this?
I shall. So I guess what I'll say is it's a master's program, so there is a level of expectation in terms of self-directed study and
Mm-hmm,
self-directed responsibility for learning, which is slightly different to undergraduate programs where there is a bit more hand-holding and a bit more spoon-feeding.
mm-hmm,
So at master's level, you are expected to think more critically, to write more critically, to question things, to involve in discussions and debates, so that you're learning from peer-to-peer interactions and engaging with the coursework at a level, at a depth that is beyond undergraduate work. So it's not that it's impossible, because students pass. We have a good success rate in terms of graduates and first time, graduates and first time passes at assessments.
mm-hmm,
Students who struggle either have not kept up with the coursework and the recommended readings as we go through, and despite lots of friendly advice to keep on top of things, I think some people just maybe take their foot off the gas a little bit, and then when it comes to the assessment times, they realise they've got too many things to do at the same time.
mm-hmm,
So it's about being organised.
mm-hmm,
It's about recognising what your best learning skills and styles are.
mm-hmm,
It's about understanding what your study skills and approaches are. And if you've not been studying for a while, you might be out of the habit of that. So it's refinding those, what works for you in terms of taking notes, reading papers, keeping up with coursework. But there are study skills sessions available at university to help students find those study skills. And I'm sure IMU has the same. So
yep,
it's about utilising as much of the support and resources around you to do your best.
mm-hmm,
And that's the other important thing. Your best might be better than somebody else's best, or it might not be good as somebody else's best, but it's your best.
mm,
And that's all we can ask of people, is not to be a class of everybody getting 90%. We want a class of people achieving their best and being pushed to do that, but making sure they're pushed in a way that they're not being put under undue pressure, but that we're supporting you to get the best out of your own skills and opportunities that you can.
yep. That is totally fair. If I can speak on behalf of IMU, we have very similar approach as University of Strathclyde as well. That we also have the desired learning outcome that we need to achieve for master's level, and obviously it is very different from the undergraduate program. So yes, you would have to expect to be a little smarter when you study this time. At postgraduate level, a lot of time we look into critical thinking, we look into a much higher level of thinking skills instead of the usual lower level of just having the basic comprehension. So I would say that if a student decide to take up a master's degree, it is really a lot about maturity into handling a lot of the coursework, and of course the study strategy will be all different. And this time around, because for example in IMU, in our master's program, we do not have big bang exams, and it's really a lot about converting their thinking skill into writing, into coming up with quality papers and quality reports and stuff like that. So those are some of the points that we look at before we can progress our student to the next phase. And very similar with University of Strathclyde in IMU, we also look into students' progress very seriously, into guiding students step by step and ensuring that they can cope with their studies, because most of our master students are working adults, so we also have to ensure that they have a good mental health as well to go on in the program. So at least this is something that we can be agree of. If you are ready to come into master's degree, you are highly motivated. So if you're highly motivated to join us, we are welcome. We welcome you to join us. All right, all right. I hope that answer to your question. Right. So we're gonna go to some of the questions that yeah, maybe okay, I just probably go back to Raven as well. The course grade is based on coursework and examination added together, or only course assessment will get final grade. So yeah, I think I'm gonna answer on behalf of Lisa. Maybe Lisa, you can chip in. In IMU, in our Master's Health Informatics and Analytics program, because we do not have any final exam, as I mentioned, so all of the marks are actually contributed from the in-course assessment. So every modules in the program would eventually have breakdowns of the marks that is needed for every in-course assessment, where students will be guided accordingly, and they will be informed accordingly as well. And we also share very clear marking rubric with students, so that students understand what are we looking at every single in-course assessment that we have. I hope that answered your question. Maybe Dr. Lisa, if you can chip in from your side.
Yeah, of course. So similar. So it depends on the module. So some modules are only assessed by coursework. Some are assessed by coursework and an exam. But thinking of the modules, I think at the moment only two modules use an exam, so the rest is coursework. But it's not a 100% exam. There'll be another coursework assessment, maybe worth 20% or 30%, and then the exam at the end of the semester. So not all assessed by exam by any means. And we have a rule really for each module per semester. There's no more than two parts to assess courseworks, or two parts of assessment, you know what I mean? So you might have a 50% assessment in week 7 and a 50% assessment in week 12, or 30 and 70, whatever that combination is, but no more than two assessed courseworks per semester per module. That's what we
Right.
work to.
Interesting. I think it's also nice to share with our participants here is of the research project that was mentioned by Dr. Lisa. So we also have very strict on the research project, where students have to submit a dissertation report, where students also have to go through presentation sessions, proposal sessions, and stuff like that, to ensure that they are doing good. And because the students are provided, or they are supervisors to supervise students in the project, so there's also constant progress report with the supervisor to ensure that the student is on track. So these are some of the things that is in place in currently that we are doing, both at IMU and also at the Strathclyde side. Okay, so maybe very quickly, let me look into that. Okay, so we have another question. Are there opportunities for those who have already completed the program in IMU to apply? Hmm. Oh well, part of the I think maybe just let me start the discussion rolling. I think part of the agreement with University of Strathclyde is that we need to have a combined joint supervision. If our existing MHIA student already completed and would like to join the program, I think at this moment will be hard, because of the agreement that we have signed, and also with the terms and all. We generally need student to have a joint supervision for both universities. So I think that is probably the only constraining factor. And I'm sure if you are already an MHIA student, I'm sure you don't want to go through your research one more round. Well, if you don't mind, I think we can do it one more round. Then we can actually have Dr. Lisa to come in to supervise. If we're gonna follow the typical pathway, I would say that maybe at this moment it will be quite tough to do. What do you think, Dr. Lisa?
I think so. Looking at the articulation agreement, I suppose the other way to look at it is if you've completed the IMU Masters and you want to do our full Masters, there's nothing stopping you applying as a separate student to do the full Masters, which would be from September to August, and you would be required to do our dissertation. There would be no transfer of the RPLs, recognised prior learning credits, because you'd be applying as a new student, not a transfer student.
Right.
So I think that's the only, at this stage for graduate students, is probably the only way to do it is by being a new full-time, full Strathclyde student. And also the fee that I then quoted would be higher because that accounts for the discount because of the joint supervision.
Yep. All right. Thank you so much. Okay, I have yeah, another questions while while we get our participant to ask question. Um, Lisa, would you know whether international master students could work while they are studying their masters at University of Strathclyde?
Yes, students on tier 4 visas or student visas in the UK can work up to 20 hours per week to
Right.
generate some income. So that is the legal cap, is 20. That's not a Strathclyde rule, that's a UK government rule, but 20 hours. And as I say, students do that, and they do jobs that are maybe not related to their studies, but they are jobs that they can do in the city centre, waiting tables. Somebody this year has been a security, yeah, he's been a security guard at some of the events and has had the opportunity to see Taylor Swift and various bands, in the kind of the events industry. I guess they're always looking for security staff, but as a benefit of that, has had the opportunity to attend the concerts. So there are opportunities to do part-time work in jobs that might not be study related but are experience related, and it's about how you then sell those transferable skills to your next employer, that you've worked with people, you've worked in environments that have been time bound or time pressured. So it's about how you consolidate the skills that you've got and the opportunities you have
Mm-hmm.
from part-time work that might then give you a leg, a leg up, a kind of a step on the ladder when you go to interview, to talk about different examples of employment or situations where you've been in with different people and you've had to do different tasks and things. So, and again, the career service at the university have job search tools, or can recommend job search tools to find local jobs in kind of local area. But yeah, Glasgow's a really vibrant city with lots of ways to have part-time work, for sure, for up to 20 hours.
Wow, fantastic. Sounded great. Thank you so much, Lisa. So if I screen through the questions, that what is the coursework? I think probably you missed the first half of the first part of the talk. We are actually discussing on the Master in Health Informatics and Analytics and IMU with the Master of Digital Health System at University of Strathclyde. So that is just in case if you missed that. So that is actually the coursework that we're talking about. Yeah. And if there's any scholarship or financial offered, as mentioned just now as well, that there are certain free reduction when we are doing this path for with IMU together with the Strathclyde. So this is why we have this very special articulation pathway, so that students get to save, I would say, a big chunk of it because of this articulation pathway that we have together with University of Strathclyde. So yes, definitely, please look into that as well. And Lisa also mentioned that if you come from a certain country, maybe there are certain financial aid provided as well. And in IMU, when you enroll into MHIA, we do provide bursary for certain group of people. For example, if you come from the Ministry of Health, you do have certain discount for that. And then if you are an alumni of IMU, you will also have certain discounts as well. So I hope that answer to the question that was posted. Yeah. Then when it comes to the age limitation, we have already mentioned there is actually no age limitation. So please do join us, to consider joining us. Yeah. And then yeah, I think we don't have any more question from the Q&A. session. So maybe I just want to open up the Q&A just for, the last few bits in case if anyone, still have some question that you wanted to ask. Yeah. So meanwhile, while we're waiting, I also have one last question for Dr. Lisa. Is that actually how accessible is the public transportation in University of Strathclyde or even in Glasgow? Is it easy to get around, to move around, or is it very
Yeah,
safe to
yeah,
walk
yeah.
around?
Yeah, you can easily what Glasgow's a big city, but it's quite compact, and it's actually it's built in a block system, so it kind of mirrors New York. If anybody's been to kind of cities like New York that are kind of built in blocks, it's all based in squares around the city centre, so it's very easy to get round. As I say, we've got that very unique circle subway system that you can't go wrong on. You either go left or you go right, and it takes you 12 minutes or it takes you 8 minutes. So that's one way to move around the city. We've actually just had new train. I don't know if I can believe it. In 2024, we've only just had new trains installed on that line. So before they were very old, very bumpy carriages, but they've a bit more modern now. Nowhere near what's happening in Kuala Lumpur, I'm sure. So the subway is one way to move around the city, and it goes from the River Clyde, as they cuts through the city, and the subway goes under the river. So you can go from the south side to the kind of north side of the city by using the subway. So that's one way. And there's a very comprehensive bus network that take people in and around the city and outskirts areas.
Mhm,
2 train stations that service areas within Glasgow and again all around the perimeter itself.
mhm,
I live in the west end of Glasgow, as I say, with that on the tube station, and for me to walk to work, it's 3 miles, so it's about an hour. And I will, do that walk on a nice day, a rare nice day that we might have in Glasgow. So walking's fine. And we also have what we call next bikes, so city bikes, where you can have an account, so you pay a fee and you get a discount as a student to pick up a bike, drop it at a station. These kind of city bikes where you pick up and drop it
Yep.
off. So they're
Yes.
all around the city as well. And they service city centre, west, north, south side. So very, very easy to get around.
Wow, it sounded so livable, and I think I'm just gonna get a ticket and fly over.
Please do.
Okay, so thank you so much, Lisa, for your time. We had a very fruitful 1 hour of presentation and also very fruitful question and answer session as well. So I want to thank Lisa for your time to come in to give us this talk. And for participants, attendees for this Zoom session, if you still have question, come and contact us. You can contact with our marketing or even admission, our admission team, and we will do our very best to answer your question if you have. And if we can't, we'll probably just pass on to Dr. Lisa. So with that, I'm gonna say thank you again for coming to this session. So I'm gonna end our session today. Oh, yep, thank you, Dr. Lisa, for putting in your email as well. So yes, that's Dr. Lisa's email. If you have any further question that you would like to ask her, please ask Dr. Lisa. Yeah. And with that, I'm going to thank all of you for this session. So again, I hope you have a good day. And for those of you who's going to start your day, I hope you have a great day ahead. And for Dr. Lisa, again, thank you so much for coming. We want to see you soon. All right.
Thank you all. Thank you for the opportunity, and thank you for joining us, everybody.